Bart Stitchman. As NVLSP's Executive Director, I am pleased to welcome you to our 12th annual benefit event, which will begin momentarily.
Good evening and welcome to Fighting for Equity and Justice, an event to benefit the National Veterans Legal Services Program. I'm Ron Flagg, Chairman of the Board of NVLSP. I wish I could greet each of you personally to thank you for your many contributions to our veterans and NVLSP. That said, thank you for joining us remotely tonight. This is the 12th year we have held this benefit, and we are holding our first virtual recognition event. 2020 is a year like no other. Our nation is still absorbing the results of a tumultuous election, grappling with the deadly coronavirus, and confronting a past steeped in inequity and racism. 16th Street, right outside our offices, is now known as Black Lives Matter Plaza. Yet, even with so many changes and challenges, our commitment to justice for veterans is one thing COVID-19 cannot cancel. NVLSP remains dedicated to our veterans, service members, survivors, and their families. Thanks to technology and persistence, we are still fighting for our nation's veterans to get the disability and other benefits they have earned and deserve. I want to say thank you to all of our NVLSP staff, our volunteer attorneys and partners who've been working from home and Zooming to carry on the fight. I also want to say thank you to all of our veterans, service members, and their families. This nation is indebted to you, and I know that COVID-19 won't stop you from fighting for fellow veterans. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Kayla Williams, our MC. Ms. Williams enlisted in the Army and served for 5 years with the 101st Airborne Division as an Arabic linguist. She wrote 2 books about her experiences in the military and with her husband, Brian, who survived a serious injury while they were both deployed to Iraq. Today, she is the Senior Fellow and Director of the Military Veterans and Society Program at the Center for a New American Security. Previously, Kayla was the Director of the Center for Women Veterans at the Department of Veterans Affairs, and she spent 8 years at the RAND Corporation researching service member and veteran health needs and benefits. So we're in good hands tonight. Kayla, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Mr. Flagg. Your advocacy for veterans is truly an inspiration, and your many years of service on the NVLSP Board of Directors are appreciated by so many. I'm honored to participate in our broadcast tonight. And now it's my pleasure to introduce a video that showcases NVLSP's work to help our veterans obtain the disability benefits they've earned and deserve.
More than 4.5 million American military veterans have a service-connected disability. Far too many of those veterans are still fighting to receive the disability benefits our country promised them. Receiving benefits for the physical and mental injuries associated with military service is a battle our American veterans and service members should not have to fight alone. So many of our veterans get caught in the system. In too many cases, their claims are improperly denied. Challenging the VA and the military on benefits decisions can be daunting and costly. But with the right legal assistance, veterans have a shot at breaking through the complex system. When the Board of Veterans' Appeals reviews VA benefit denials, more than half are granted or sent back to the VA to correct errors. And it takes on average 519 days for the VA to handle a remand. When veterans are represented by a lawyer before the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, over 80% of them win. NVLSP leverages its expertise and resources to improve the lives of thousands of veterans by providing legal representation to veterans caught in the system. Through landmark class action litigation, NVLSP has won benefits for hundreds of thousands of veterans and their families. We win 9 out of every 10 cases before the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. And since 2007, through our Lawyers Serving Warriors program, we have partnered with law firms and corporate legal departments across the country to place the cases of thousands of veterans with volunteer attorneys. Our commitment to veterans advocacy and our impact on the lives of veterans nationwide is enhanced and leveraged by the publications and training manuals we create to equip lawyers across the country to use their expertise to assist our veterans. Our treatise on veterans law is used by thousands of veterans advocates nationwide. NVLSP's reach is amplified by our work with organizations and state agencies coast to coast to train lawyers, service officers, and advocates. We also train thousands of attorneys and advocates in specific skill sets through monthly webinars. NVLSP uses all of these training programs as a force multiplier to reach more veterans across the country. NVLSP and our veterans rely on the support of the legal community to further our mission. Every day, we work to ensure veterans are not wrongfully denied the disability benefits they have earned through their service to our country. Since our founding in 1981, we have helped hundreds of thousands of veterans access more than $5.2 billion of disability benefits. And we continue to expand and refine our programs to meet the needs of veterans, such as our military sexual trauma program, discharge upgrade and military medical retirement programs, as well as those veterans exposed to Agent Orange, burn pits, and other toxic emissions. NVLSP can change the lives of the men and women who have served our country. Your support allows us to further our mission to make a difference for veterans and their families. We have a uniform code to serve those who have served us.
Wow, that video explained so much. I'm Kayla Williams, and I'm so excited to be your MC for the evening. Legal advocacy plays such an important role in helping our veterans obtain their disability benefits. Throughout the program, we'll be featuring short videos about veterans that NVLSP has helped. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce NVLSP's board member and keynote speaker, Will Gunn. Mr. Gunn served as the General Counsel for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs during the Obama administration. Mr. Gunn is a retired Air Force colonel, and he served as a military lawyer in the Air Force Judge Advocate General Corps. In 2003, he was the first ever Chief Defense Counsel in the DoD Office of Military Commissions, where he established a team of legal professionals to represent detainees at the Guantanamo prison camp. He graduated from the U.S. Air Force Academy with military honors. In 1980, Mr. Gunn was part of the Hall of Fame for the National Bar Association's Military Law Section and was awarded the American Bar Association's Outstanding Career Military Lawyer Award. He received his law degree from Harvard, where he was president of the Harvard Legal Aid Bureau, the nation's oldest student-run legal services organization. Mr. Gunn currently chairs the American Bar Association National Law Day commemoration for 2021, the theme of which is Advancing the Rule of Law Now.
Greetings, I'm Will Gunn. I'm an Air Force veteran, and I'm former General Counsel of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. And I'm also on the board of directors of the National Veterans Legal Services Program, NVLSP. In reviewing NVLSP's latest impact report, I was struck by one statement near the beginning of the report. It says, in an ideal world, we shouldn't need to exist. I agree with that statement. However, the reality is, we don't live in an ideal world. The world in which we live is one in which NVLSP and its services are desperately needed. perhaps more so now than ever before. You know, I'm recording this message on Veterans Day, and I'm reminded of the fact that I first heard of NVLSP exactly 11 years ago today. You see, my wife Dawn and I were invited to a breakfast reception at the White House, and we sat at a table along with former NVLSP Co-Executive Director Ron Abrams and his wife Barbara. And while we were there, Ron told me a great deal about NVLSP, and he also invited me over to the office. Well, it took a few weeks for that to happen, but I accepted his invitation and I went to the offices. There I learned more. I met his co-executive director, Bart Stichman, and several other members of the staff. I also learned about the incredible mission that NVLSP has. You know, I believe that NVLSP's mission is in direct harmony with VA's stated mission to serve and to make sure that veterans get all of the benefits that they've earned and rightfully deserve. That's why, after I left government, I was thrilled to join NVLSP's board when our board chair, Ron Flagg, and executive director, Bart Stichman, approached me. Now, our theme for this event is fighting for equity and justice. It's indeed a fitting and timely theme. As you know, our nation is in the midst of a period of racial reckoning. And while so much of the attention has been focused on abuses by police, it's also important that we look at other societal inequities and injustices, including those affecting military members and veterans. In 1948, President Truman used Executive Order 9981 to integrate the military. That was 6 years before the land-breaking decision in Brown versus Board of Education, where the Supreme Court ruled that the doctrine of separate but equal was unlawful. Since that time, tremendous progress has been made, and some have looked to the military as an exemplar of equality and merit principles. Indeed, as you all know, in 1989, General Colin Powell became chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest military position. In 2014, Admiral Michelle Howard, a Black woman, became the Navy's first ever four-star admiral, first ever female four-star admiral. And just a few months ago, General C.Q. Brown became Air Force Chief of Staff, and in doing so, became the first ever African-American Chief of Staff of any service. However, these momentous firsts don't tell the whole story. For example, racial inequities exist in the military justice system and the prevalence of unfavorable discharges. And those discharges can limit or entirely eliminate entitlement to benefits. I'd like to explain exactly how this injustice fits in. Recently released data shows huge racial inequities in the military justice system. Specifically, on average, Black Marines are 32% more likely than white Marines to be found guilty at a court-martial or non-judicial punishment proceedings than are white Marines. In the Navy, Black sailors are on average 40% more likely than white sailors to be found guilty at a court-martial or non-judicial punishment proceedings than are white sailors. In the Army, Black soldiers are on average 61% more likely to face special or general court-martial than are white soldiers. And in the Air Force, where I served, Black airmen are 71% more likely to face court-martial or non-judicial punishment than white airmen. Why do these disparities exist? Well, an easy answer perhaps is to just say systemic racism. But nearly 2 decades ago, I had the opportunity to work for the Air Force's top military lawyer, the Judge Advocate General, also referred to as TJAG. And in working for this general officer, I went around and got a chance to visit a lot of military installations. And as I traveled, the word got around that my boss was very interested in this data. So people briefed it, and they launched a preemptive attack each time, or I should say a preemptive defense. And they explained, sir, we've looked at this data, and we've pulled each and every one of these Article 15s, non-judicial punishment actions concerning Black airmen. And we can tell you that there is ample evidence to support each and every one of them. But my boss says something profound. He says, I'm glad to hear that you've done that. But what this data does not show is who didn't get punishment. In other words, who got the benefit of the doubt? Who got a break that never ended up in punitive action? Those decisions have consequences, profound consequences, because oftentimes non-judicial punishment is the precursor to a punitive discharge, or to an unfavorable discharge. And when a person gets an unfavorable discharge, it can mean loss of job opportunities, stigma that can last a lifetime, and it can mean denial of VA healthcare and disability compensation benefits, among others. That makes a difference. That's why NVLSP and his Lawyer Serving Warriors program matters. It matters a great deal. So I just want to thank everybody who has supported NVLSP over the years. The work that you do matters. It makes a profound difference in the lives of individual veterans, and it can also make a great difference with the impact litigation and the advocacy that NVLSP is involved in. That advocacy now extends to class action lawsuits, which I'm convinced will make a profound difference for vets. You know, in closing, I'm just reminded of Dr. King's quote from a letter from a Birmingham jail, 1963, where he said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That's what NVLSP is helping to combat. One last thought. I'm often inspired, I've often been inspired by a story that I've heard told by Lauren Isley, an anthropologist and an author. And the story is of an old man who loves the beach, and he goes out for a morning walk. As I've gotten older, I found myself enjoying a morning walk of my own. And on this morning walk, this older man, he would go out and he would see, and he saw a young man off in the distance. And he couldn't make out exactly what the young man was doing, but it seemed as though he may have been exercising or perhaps doing some type of dance or maybe even martial arts. But as he got closer, he realized that what the young man was doing was that he was picking up objects and he was tossing them back into the surf. He eventually reached the young man and he asked him what he was doing. And the young man explained that there had been a storm the night before, and that storm had washed up all kinds of starfish all along the beach. And he said that if I don't throw these back in, they're going to die when the sun comes up. The older man, perhaps in an attempt to display his wisdom, told the young man, Look, there are starfish all along the beach. There are too many for you to possibly make a difference. Upon hearing that, the young man reached down, picked up another starfish, and tossed it into the surf. And he said, I made a difference for that one. I want to encourage all of you, keep making a difference. You may not change the world for everyone. You may not make a difference for every veteran, but you can make a difference for one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gunn. We appreciate your outstanding leadership and support. It has made a difference for NVLSP. Now it's time for our award presentations. It's my pleasure to introduce the Lawyers Serving Warriors Excellence Award. This award recognizes an attorney who has provided exemplary pro bono services to veterans and service members. Here to present the award is Mary Idopai. She is a Navy veteran and an NVLSP staff attorney specializing in assisting survivors of military sexual trauma.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Alexandra McGill-Romer, a partner at Perkins Coie, as the recipient of this year's Lawyers Serving Warriors Excellence Award. Ms. Romer has successfully represented veterans since 2014 in a number of cases. She has helped veterans file for combat-related special compensation, military medical retirement, and discharge upgrades, including a discharge upgrade for a military sexual trauma survivor. She has assisted NVLSP with research projects, coordinated trainings at her firm, and placed cases with other attorneys. Ms. Romer, your life-changing work for veterans is remarkable, and we are so pleased to announce that you are our 2020 Lawyers Serving Warriors Excellence Award winner.
Thank you so much for this special recognition. I am very, very humbled and somewhat grateful the event this year is virtual because I would be terrified to speak in front of so many distinguished people in person. My firm, Perkins Coie, is proud to partner with NVLSP on behalf of our nation's veterans to help secure for them what is owed and make the lives of these special members of society a little better. So I accept this award on behalf of the whole firm with their thanks. I'd also like to especially recognize Bria Cochran, my colleague in the DC office of Perkins Coie, who was the laboring oar on a very challenging but ultimately successful discharge upgrade case we had this year. Every case that we take from NVLSP is a team effort, and we are forever grateful for the exceptional guidance we receive from the NVLSP attorney staff. In particular, David Sonnenschein and Rochelle Bogroff. These individuals, along with the entire NVLSP staff, are the best examples I know of relentless advocates. We are only able to help our veteran clients because of the excellent guidance we receive from this fantastic organization. Every time I attend this benefit, I leave more inspired to work with NVLSP to place more cases with my colleagues at Perkins Coie. It's my hope that everyone watching tonight feels the same, and that anyone interested in participating in the Lawyers Serving Warriors program makes a plan to contact NVLSP tomorrow to volunteer. Thank you again for this very kind honor, and have a great evening.
Congratulations, Ms. Romer. Before we go to our next award, we would like to introduce you to PERLA BORTEL, NVLSP and pro bono volunteer attorneys assisted with her military medical retirement case.
As a medic, I'm really proud that I'm helping other soldiers. It's really nice when they're having a trouble or a need, and the first thing that they do is like, medic! So that means you need to help them. I was doing train-ups in Germany when I ruptured 3 tendons on my left ankle. When I was told by my army attorney that I didn't get the retirement, I froze. What was going to happen to my family? What was going to happen to me?
What was at stake in PERLA's case was her opportunity to separate from the military with the benefits that she had earned and she deserved, versus sending her back to active duty where she felt like she was letting down her fellow service members because she wasn't able to do the job that she signed up to do.
The process itself is really stressful. Just picture that your life is gonna change completely and you haven't planned on that. What are your goals and your dreams? No more.
We needed to work with PERLA and NVLSP to boil down the most likely winners, in other words, the injuries that we should focus on. NVLSP are skilled attorneys with deep expertise in helping veterans get through this process and really helped contribute to PERLA's win.
NVLSP is something that people like me need. They make you feel better going through a tough process.
We were able to celebrate the victory with her right there at the end of the hearing, so it was really rewarding.
I feel so much happiness inside of me because I knew that my family was going to be okay. I knew that I was going to be okay.
Now, it's my great privilege to introduce Rochelle Bobroff. Rochelle is the director of NVLSP's pro bono program, Lawyers Serving Warriors. She's here to present our second awardee.
Thank you, Kayla. Every year, we recognize law firms that offer an unwavering commitment to veterans. And this year, I am pleased to present the Pro Bono Partner of the Year Award to Faegre Drinker. Pro bono work is a core value of their firm. They are a top 50 law firm with more than 1,300 attorneys, consultants, and professionals in the US, the UK, and China. Faegre Drinker has been a valuable partner of our pro bono program for over a decade. The firm's volunteer attorneys have taken over 100 NVLSP cases. Faegre Drinker has become one of NVLSP's leading pro bono partners for cases involving wrongful separations for personality disorders, for veterans exposed to Agent Orange, and at the Board of Veterans Appeals. The firm's support for our veterans, service members, and their families has been extraordinary. It is my pleasure to present Faegre Drinker with our 2020 Pro Bono Partner of the Year Award. Congratulations! The award will be accepted by Ted Budd, counsel for Faegre Drinker.
On behalf of Faegre Drinker, Biddle, and Reith, it is a tremendous honor to accept this award. Service to others is a core value of our firm, and pro bono is fundamental to our culture. It is especially meaningful to accept this award as a newly combined firm, as it recognizes one of the many ways our legacy firms had shared values. That is a commitment to serving the men and women who served our country. Our firm refers to the work that we do for veterans as the Justice for Veterans program. Our Faegre Drinker Justice for Veterans program includes 170 dedicated attorney and paralegal team members working across offices and practice areas on a variety of matters. Our firm has partnered with the National Veterans Legal Services Program since 2007. We are grateful for the excellent staff at NVLSP who support our work and this long-standing partnership. We are proud to work with such an outstanding organization, though the real privilege is working with the veterans themselves. All of our client veterans share one thing in common. After making the brave and honorable decision to serve our country, they were wronged in some way. But through our work with the Justice for Veterans program and NVLSP, we correct those wrongs. We secure proper medical coverage for veterans. We correct unfair military records. And sometimes we change the law, like we did in our Agent Orange cases, so veterans can receive the benefits they deserve. On a personal note, I've never been more proud as an attorney as when earlier this year, I sat in my office and read a long-awaited decision for a client, an Army veteran who was wounded in combat in Iraq. I then called him, and I had the privilege of telling him that he had just been awarded the Purple Heart. That experience cemented my belief that the work we do with NVLSP not only changes the way that veterans think and feel about themselves, it changes the way that others see our veterans. It's hard to imagine more rewarding legal work. So thank you, NVLSP, for recognizing our work, and thank you for this award. And thank you for helping us serve all those men and women who made that brave and honorable decision to serve our country. We look forward to working with this outstanding organization for many years to come. Finally, a special thank you to all active duty service members and all veterans for your service.
Thank you, Ms. Bobroff and Mr. Budd. Now, we would like to share with you the story of another veteran NVLSP assisted through its military sexual trauma program, RITA Maldonado.
"19 years old, I joined the Army. The first day I got to my company, Sergeant Jackson took me to a conference room. It happened so fast. I was on the other side of the room, up against the wall. He had his hands in my pants and my shirt, and I couldn't move. That happened a couple of times. People would just turn the other way and wouldn't look. I couldn't wait to get out.
She comes out of the military. She really doesn't understand what's happening, and she's self-coping in very negative ways.
I was defiant. I started hanging out with the rough crowd, and I started doing a lot of drinking and a lot of drugs. When I had been fired from my 10th or so job, I went to the VA therapist expecting nothing at all other than, yeah, here's some meds. He immediately told me, "You have PTSD due to MST," after seeing me one time.
Their original finding was that the military sexual trauma was not the cause of her current disabilities. So a big piece of the work that we had to do was addressing that and showing, like, this is actually a continuous series of events stemming from the military sexual trauma.
At no point did I think that I was going to be granted disability.
There was this months-long, if not a year-long, administrative process to try to move it along. You know, no veteran really has the bandwidth to do that. It is an exhausting process. NVLSP provided critical and essential guidance all along the way.
You just don't find that type of support anywhere.
RITA absolutely won her case in a really big way.
I could not believe how lucky and blessed and vindicated I felt.
And now it's time for our Corporate Leadership Award. Here to introduce this year's recipient is Amy Hsu. Ms. Hsu has served on NVLSP's Board of Directors for nearly a decade and has personally recruited many attorneys to donate their time on legal matters to assist veterans. She is passionate about pro bono work and currently is the Senior Vice President, Chief Ethics and Compliance Officer for Cognizant.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. I'm thrilled to present this year's Corporate Leadership Award to Merck & Company Incorporated. We applaud Merck for recognizing the sacrifice that veterans and their families have made, for delivering exceptional employment opportunities and support for veterans and their spouses, as well as dedicating its corporate legal resources in providing outstanding pro bono services for disabled veterans. Merck is a valuable pro bono partner to NVLSP and is one of our leading pro bono partners for combat-related special compensation cases. Merck's attorneys have donated hundreds of hours of their time to assist veterans with combat-related compensation applications and military medical retirement applications. Many people don't realize that when veterans are medically retired, a host of benefits are at stake, and that if their disabilities are not properly rated, the veteran and his or her family can lose out on tens of thousands of dollars of support. It is my distinct privilege to present the 2020 Corporate Leadership Award to Merck.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Barry McCoy, Vice President Legal here at Merck & Co. Inc. All of us here at Merck & Co. Inc. are deeply honored to be the recipients of this year's NVLSP Corporate Leadership Award. Thank you, NVLSP, for this award, and thank you to all of our nation's veterans for your service. When I was first told about this award by Ana Reyes, I thought it was only in recognition of the pro bono work done by our legal department. But it is so much more than that. In addition to recognizing the tremendous casework done by my legal colleagues, this award is an acknowledgement of the amazing work done by our Employee Veterans Group, which assists in recruiting and onboarding veterans, as well as fostering and growing opportunities for veterans, both at our company and in the community around us. It's an acknowledgement that our company has been named a military-friendly employer for 12 years running and has made the Military Times list as a Best for Vets employer in 2020. And above all else, it's an acknowledgement of the unique experience that veterans bring to the table at our company, the work ethic, the leadership skills, and the dedication to mission, and that we as a company are better off for it. I want to first and foremost thank our Employee Veterans Group, as we would not be receiving this award without the work and dedication of this exceptional team of people. My colleague Joseph Butcher, a former Marine, who in addition to his business role leads our Employee Veterans Group, said, and I quote, "Supporting our vets is both a personal and professional commitment. Bringing vets into our company is an opportunity to leverage and benefit from diverse perspectives, experiences, and leadership capabilities, enriching the organization at every level. Thank you, NVLSP, for recognizing our efforts." End quote. I also want to thank my colleagues in the legal department, particularly those in our Rahway and Upper Gwinnett offices, for their countless hours of work on NVLSP cases and their zealous advocacy over the years on behalf of veterans. Since 2015, you've assisted so many veterans with combat-related special compensation claims and military medical retirement applications. To each and every one of you, thank you for your work and for your dedication to pro bono. NVLSP is and has been such a beacon of hope for veterans for so long, and that makes this award even more meaningful for us. As we all know, NVLSP has an incredible track record of success and a wonderful and talented staff of people that are steadfast and absolutely relentless in their pursuit of justice for veterans. We are deeply honored that an organization such as NVLSP would see fit to recognize us with this award. So from all of us here at Merck to all of you at NVLSP, thank you for this award and for your tireless efforts to ensure just treatment for veterans. After the year that we've all had, our veterans need NVLSP now more than ever. And we here at Merck look forward to continuing that journey with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy and Merck, for all you do to help our nation's veterans. Benefits have a cumulative impact on a veteran and their family for a lifetime. Now, we're going to take a look at the story of retired Air Force Major Wes Carter. Major Carter and over 2,000 other veterans were exposed to toxic Agent Orange while serving in the reserves and National Guard as they flew contaminated C-123 aircraft on missions around the United States. He and his fellow veterans fought for years for the government to recognize that they were exposed to Agent Orange while carrying out their duties and deserved medical care and disability benefits. In June 2015, the VA issued a regulation granting Air Force reservists who served on board C-123 aircraft a presumption of Agent Orange exposure, which entitled them to disability benefits. However, the regulation did not permit retroactive benefits prior to June 2015. Major Carter's fight was not over. Through the advocacy of NVLSP and one of our awardees tonight, Fagri Drinker, the Board of Veterans' Appeals granted Major Carter's claim in October 2017 with retroactive benefits back to the filing of his original claim in 2011. Advocates are using this board decision to achieve consistent rulings for other C-123 reservists. the decision should have a broad impact for many of the 2,100 Air Force personnel who trained and served in the contaminated planes and now suffer from life-threatening illnesses. Let's hear Major Carter's story.
I joined our aeromedical evacuation squadron, the 74th Air Evac, in 1974 aboard the C-123 called Patches. Patches had sprayed Agent Orange in Vietnam, and it remained contaminated from that. I became aware of it myself when I was ill in the hospital with a heart problem and heart surgery, and my physician informed me that I also had prostate cancer.
The VA has a list of 15 diseases that it recognizes are related to Agent Orange. It will pay benefits to veterans who have those diseases. Wes has many of those diseases, but they refused to compensate him because he didn't serve in Vietnam.
I phoned a couple of guys when I got sick. They were sick too, and we started putting the pieces together that the aircraft was an issue and that we had to start convincing the VA and the Air Force. They had never been decontaminated. We found out later that by 2010, they were so toxic, the Air Force simply destroyed them as toxic waste. They were too toxic to even be buried. I filed a claim with the VA. I said, I flew the airplane, it's proven to be contaminated, I have one of the Agent Orange illnesses. Well, they dismissed that without any investigation at all. We had pilots, we had flight nurses, we had maintenance folks. They were all denied, every single one of them. So I contacted NVLSP.
We gave him advice on how to help convince the VA that they should recognize as a presumption that those who flew or who worked on the C-123s after the Vietnam War were exposed to Agent Orange.
They knew the people to talk to in the VA. They had other ideas about where to reach out for more help. This let 2,100 of our veterans suddenly become eligible for VA care.
The bulk of the work that NVLSP did was focusing on retroactive compensation for him once the VA agreed that he should be paid benefits.
My claim was submitted to the VA in 2011. The impact was immense to me, but what's more important to me is that it serves as a model for what other veterans can turn into the VA and effectively have their claims made retroactive. Wouldn't have happened without the NVLSP.
That was incredible. Since its early days, NVLSP has worked to help veterans exposed to toxic Agent Orange, like Wes Carter. Recently, NVLSP went back to court for the fourth time to enforce the 29-year-old Niemer class action consent decree. The court ruled in favor of thousands of veterans and ordered the Department of Veterans Affairs to redecide disability claims for 2,000 to 15,000 blue water Vietnam veterans who served on waterways and ships during the war. Each veteran could receive an average of $28,000 in tax-free disability benefits. This decision could result in the VA paying tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in relief to blue water veterans and their families. NVLSP's expertise in toxic emissions is also helping a new generation of veterans. Thousands of us were exposed to burn pits and toxic substances while serving in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other locations. Many have been sickened and disabled by cancers linked to these toxic exposures, and some have died. NVLSP is working with a coalition to help these veterans obtain disability benefits because they were exposed to toxic substances while on duty for America. Even in these unprecedented times, NVLSP's advocacy for our veterans continues, and your support is so critical for that work. Everyone watching tonight, we're so grateful you attended our virtual event. It's your generosity and support that enables NVLSP to help our veterans, service members, and their families. With your help, NVLSP's lawyers and staff can continue to fight for equity and justice for our veterans, survivors, and their families. And now, I'd also like to say thank you for asking me to MC tonight. To close out our broadcast, we'll hear parting words from NVLSP staff and Executive Director Bart Stichman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of NVLSP, thanks again to all our friends, partners, presenters, and honorees for joining us. If you would like to learn anything more, please visit our website at www.nvlsp.org. Check out our Digital Impact Report. Thank you and good evening.